So when it comes to the big rocks for somebody who's on like a limited budget, what would you say are the primary things to focus on? Let's give me your top three.
Okay, top 3 is to stop buying the stuff in the first place. Save your money. Spend your money on a great water filter system that's under your sink, not necessarily on top. I've been in apartments smaller than this table, and I can tell you that it can still fit an RO filter underneath. Should have 3 canisters and a carbon block in that, and a tank, and it makes its own water while you sleep, right? So you really want to be thinking water. And I've gotten so kind of interested in water. I test my own water, I test products, I do before and after. I'm really into understanding. Duke University, and I interviewed this person who has a wonderful lab, Heather Stapleton, and they did a study on water filters, and reverse osmosis, it was confirmed really is one of the most aggressive ways to clean water, and was very much capable of taking perfluoroalkyl chemicals, so the forever chemicals off as a class, which are difficult. And so again, I think putting time, effort, and money just to get that right is critical. I think in terms of food, USDA organic, frozen foods in season is cheaper. Frozen's accessible at every big box store in the country, has nutrient-rich value from being flash frozen, but also has no chemicals and pesticides and synthetic, stuff. Super smart now because it's so much more accessible and affordable than it ever was. So those are the 2 biggest changes. And maybe first or third or whatever way you want to look at it is just don't buy a lot of products to begin with, and vet out the ones that you do need or want. Makeup, personal care products, feminine care products, especially women with tampons, and all that is so much chemicals that we want to be thinking about what we put in our body as much as we put on our skin.
Are there options for like cleaner tampons these days?
Yeah, there are.
I wouldn't know.
Well, here's the thing. In personal care products, it's important to know we have USDA organic, which is regulated by the United States, began around 1980s, very, very important, and is pretty much the only thing we have when it comes to clean food. I mean, certainly I encourage people who don't have access to organics just to wash their food and rinse, baking soda, vinegar. There's so many hacks for that too. But if you have your choice, USDA organic. The thing is that does not apply to anything in the cleaning product world or the personal care product world. There is no such thing as organic products. Even though they say organic, it could mean one ingredient that's USDA organic and 100 others that are not. So there's a lot of organic washing, so to speak, in products that are just not in the category of oversight like food is. And so I think when we think about that, you want to look at vetted sources like Skin Deep Database and Cleria and Yucca, who do this for a living, who manage these markets and really keep a close eye on them and give us, again, not perfect, but pretty darn good information that we're not able as mere mortals who aren't toxicologists able to do. So I think that's the 3 things I would say. Highest yield is water. Prioritize it, think about it, take it with you. I take it to, I have a huge stainless steel one I take to lacrosse tournaments for weekends. Why am I going to buy bottled water when I can just go to the back of my trunk and, there's little hacks in everything. Food, and then of course not buying stuff to begin with that we've been marketed to.
Yeah, it's huge. I think that it's probably smart to put increased scrutiny on the things that are, as they become less essential. So like cosmetic products and things like that. I mean, there's, when traveling, obviously, or if money is really tight and you've got a big family to feed, like obviously you need food. Like you want to be fed. You don't want to go hungry, right? And so there are certain concessions that one might make. But with things like, we had a discussion recently on the podcast about like fragranced candles and things like that. And just the soup of industrial chemicals that you're being exposed to when you burn like an industrial artificially fragranced candle in your home. And then those particles, that particulate matter then settles on the floor, and you've got an infant crawling around getting all that stuff on their hands, and then, hand to mouth. It's like, you don't need to be burning a candle in your home. I mean, it might be nice, it might be romantic occasionally, but like those are the kinds of products where you want to put increased scrutiny on. and opt for the best version. I don't know, beeswax, people have told me.
Yeah, companies committed to making cleaner versions.
Yeah.
And again, there's no oversight and regulation. So you have to really know the company. You have to reach out. You have to really kind of do a little research on that. And then you can shop at places, big box stores like Whole Foods. I mean, I'm not promoting anything, but there are certain, at least, layers that might be more effective. Even I think Target's gotten better at this, in terms of understanding their products and what comes into their stores. There's much more awareness than there ever was. It's by far from perfect, but you have that added layer of your own apps and your own. I mean, I go into stores and I'll spend hours there looking at products and looking them up and scanning them and seeing if they're in the database, not in the database. So I just think once, it takes 15 minutes for me to shop now because I walk into these stores and I already know my products, so in a way it makes life a lot easier. But yeah, I mean, it's like there's a lot of stuff we just, it's superfluous, right? We don't really necessarily need it. I had a whole drawer of plugins. I had a new home. I was, a young mom. And I remember the day that I dumped an entire drawer of like pumpkin spice latte drink, odor gel, whatever plug-in, and, Bay Breeze or Ocean Breeze. I mean, I had every name you can think of because that's like this fantasy that we're being sold. Of a better place world by, but there are cleaner products. There's definitely certain essential oils that if they're vetted can give you the same experience.
Well, clean has no scent.
Yeah,
We've been lied to. I mean,
yeah.
We expect clean to smell like a fresh linen breeze or,
right.
A citrus spritzer or whatever.
Right.
But clean has no scent.
Yeah, and there are people who aesthetically like perfume, as an example, or musk or some of these chemicals. They just want to smell better, right? And I'm one of those people. I like perfume. I grew up on perfume, and I did a little experiment with my teenager, and I bought very low toxic perfume. It was male and female scents. And we did an experiment. We just, he knew how to do this when he was a teenager, and they know how to do scents are like all the thing in these middle school. And, by the way, you don't have kids yet, but I'm telling you. And he would take the card and go like this. And like, it's a thing with these guys, right?
I get it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's so funny. Like, it's not crack and they're not selling like, hardcore. I'm like, whatever they're passing behind the car over there, thank God it's not something, that they're going to get arrested for. But it's just so funny the value they put on it. And it turns out, wouldn't you know it, he loved the stuff that was non-toxic, low chemical rating, and we both got something. I bought one, he brought one. And it was kind of a fun experiment. We did this with chocolate. I got a huge box of chocolate that was rated very low in terms of heavy metals, cadmium and lead. Came from a Consumer Reports study. I posted on it. And it was well done. And there was one company that actually also was organic as well as low toxicity. And they had some kind of variety box, which I love to do with kids. If you're interested, you get a variety box and you sit around and you taste them and you have fun with your kids while you're teaching them. So I think that there's experiences that you can educate and still have fun.
Hey, if you liked that video, you need to check out this one here, and I'll see you there.